So this is the introductory lesson on standard form of the equation of the line. And in the standard form of the equation of the line, the general form is ax plus by plus c equals 0. And a and b and c all have to be integers, such as positive 1, negative 4, 0, etc. And a has to be a positive integer. So if we move on and we take a look at a couple of examples. Here, we've got 3x minus 4y plus 8 equals 0. The a here is 3, b is negative 4, and c is equal to 8. And so that means that a, b, and c are integers, so a is a positive integer, so the equation is in standard form. Looking at another example, where we got negative 3x plus y minus 4 equals 0. A is negative 3, b is 1 because it's understood to be 1y there, and c is equal to negative 4. Now the problem with this is a is not a positive integer, so the equation is not in standard form. Next example, 5x minus 4 over 5y minus 9 equals 0. And when you're given this, a is 5, b is negative 4 over 5, and c is negative 9. And since b is not an integer, negative 4 over 5, we can't have fractions as integers. B is not an integer, so the equation is not in standard form. Next example, 3x minus 12y equals 9. Well, the constant is on the right-hand side of the equal sign, so this equation is not in standard form. And here, 2x plus 5 equals 0. And we have a is equal to 2. Now, there is no b term, and the only way that's possible is if b is equal to 0. And then c is equal to 5. So that means that a, b, and c are all integers, because remember 0 is an integer, so the equation is in standard form. Taking a look at another example, 2y plus 9 equals 0. Here, a is 0 because the only way for there to be no x term is if it's 0 times x. So there is no x term, so that means a is 0. B is equal to 2. And c is equal to 9. So this equation is in standard form. So the type of question you might be asked to do here is to find the slope and y-intercept if you're given an equation in standard form. So we're given the equation 3x minus 2y plus 12 equals 0. And so the first thing we have to do is realize that what we're going to have to do is rearrange this equation so that it is in slope y-intercept form. In other words, what we have to do is to solve for y. Now, that means we get y all by itself, and then we have the equation in y equals mx plus b, then we'll be able to find the slope and the y-intercept. Now, the first thing we have to do is write your equation, and what we're going to do, the easiest way to solve for y is to add 2y to both sides to isolate the y variable. So we add 2y to both sides of the equation, and we're going to switch this around, so 0 plus 2y is 2y, and we're going to bring that to the left-hand side of the equation. 3x minus 2y plus 12 simplifies because the minus 2y plus 2y cancel out, so we're going to have 2y equals 3x plus 12. Next thing we're going to do is divide both sides by 2 to isolate the y, and we're going to simplify, and 2y over 2 is just y. And remember that we've got 3 over 2x and plus 6. And what we have to realize is that the m here is the 3 over 2. And that means our slope is 3 over 2. And our y-intercept is 6, because 3 over 2 is our m, and positive 6 is our b. So we'll try another question, and we're asked to find the slope and the y-intercept of this equation. So first thing you do, once again, rearrange the equation into slope y-intercept form and solve for y. So write the equation. Easiest way to isolate the term with the variable is to subtract 3y from both sides. So we do that, and we get 0 minus 3y. Now remember, that simplifies to be negative 3y. And the y's, when you subtract 3y, there is no y term on this side of the equation, so it's just negative 6x plus 24, so we bring that over to the right-hand side of the equation. Now we have to divide both sides by negative 3 in order to isolate the variable. And negative 3 over negative 3 is 1. Negative 6 over negative 3 is positive 2. And 24 over negative 3 is negative 8. So the equation is y equals 2x minus 8. And recognize that the 2 is our m, and then minus 8 is our b. So the slope of the line is 2, and the y-intercept is negative 8.